Hey guys, welcome back to Utano, the podcast. Long time not see. Hey guys, welcome back to Utano, the podcast. This is literally about 2 years later, a year and a half later. But better late than never. Um, I just thought it would be good to do a little bit of a catch up. Initially, I wanted the podcast to be about like all things skin and just like different things around skin, skin conditions, that sort of thing. But I think my life has evolved a lot over the last year, and it's only appropriate to kind of like include some of the things that have happened or the things that have changed, and incorporate them into my skincare journey, my skincare, vibe. Um, for those of you who don't know, I had a baby about a year ago, and she is now one. So we are just slowly trying to get out of the postpartum trenches. We have good days and bad days, but overall, it's definitely better than a year ago. And I just thought maybe today, I thought today we could just touch on my skin before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and postpartum. And all three stages have been a roller coaster, have been very different. So, when I initially got pregnant, my skin was okay. And I just continued using the same skincare routine I was using. But the only thing that did change was the fact that I couldn't use certain products, because when you become pregnant, most of the things that you could usually just um, do without having to second guess or think about, you have to now consider. And for me, things like retinol, you can't use retinol when you're pregnant. So that was one of the things I had to cut out of my skincare routine, um, which was quite a bit of a challenge. But because my skin was in a good place, it wasn't like a train smash. And so, probably first trimester, second trimester, my skin was actually coping well with the pregnancy. Hey, third trimester, well, in the second trimester, going into third trimester, things just started taking um a turn. It was a downward spiral. And now every single thing I was using was just not working on my skin, even like a skincare routine I had built from like 3 years ago, because I just constantly use the same thing over and over again. And I very rarely try new things, but I do try and, you know, come outside of my normal skincare routine, but without actually disrupting what is already working, if that makes sense. So I am keen to try new things, but within the constraints of the routine that I'm already using. But when I entered my third trimester, things just honestly took a turn for the worst, and my skin started breaking out. I had acne, hyperpigmentation. My skin was going from day to night. I probably turned maybe 3 shades darker than my normal actual skin color. And honestly, I don't want to lie, third trimester was a leveler. It was the trenches. And honestly, my self confidence was in the pits. And not only because of my skincare routine, but just because also my body has had drastically changed. And my nose, to be specific, was very different. And my body was also very different. And I tried as much as I could to continue doing my skincare routine. And I also incorporated like oils and like bio oil and like tissue oils to try and combat the damage that the pregnancy was going to do to my skin, because as the baby grows bigger, your skin has to stretch to make space for the baby. And I did film a little bit when I was pregnant, but my pregnancy was very intimate. And I quite liked that about the pregnancy, in the sense that I just got to enjoy it with the people that I love. And it made the journey a little less daunting for me, because I was one of the first people in my age group to have a baby, and then I'm like the first person in my friendship group to have a baby. So just kind of being able to navigate that without, the opinions of the the opinions of other people, which sometimes actually don't really matter in that moment, because the experience is real to you and you're the one who's going through it. And honestly, I just got to a point in my third trimester where I just decided I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna take a break from the skincare routine thing. I just decided to park it. I decided that I was gonna deal with my skin after the pregnancy, just because my skin just wasn't responding to anything. Like no sort of resuscitation, life support vibe was working. So I just decided to park it and wait until the pregnancy was over, because even the things that I needed, the products that I needed, and the ingredients that I needed to kind of try and sort out my skin were going to be harmful to the baby, or could be potentially harmful to the baby. So I just, took a break and I just stripped back to basics. I was literally using a Vaseline. And after I had the baby, I was fortunate enough that my mom was here with me. So most of the time, if I needed to do my skincare routine, I would just say, "Mama, di ba dire wo mana?" And it would literally, like, I would be able to get on with it. And that's when I started doing the work. And I haven't really been able to be consistent in my posting or like filming content, just because being a new mom and being a mom in general is very overwhelming, and trying to juggle that with also going to work has been a roller coaster. But I am consistent in my skincare. And so I have worked from the time my baby was born up until now to get my skin to where it is. And I have to say I've done a pretty good job. Um, but it's kind of like what that has taught me is to fall in love with the process of whatever season or whatever you're going through in life. And one thing that I did struggle with postpartum was thinking that the old Tatenda was gonna come back, and that girl is she's never coming back. And so I'm at a point in my life where I've had to reimagine who I am. I've had to readjust what I thought I was, or who I thought I was, then, or who I was then, because that person's not coming back. So I have to now kind of like realign myself with the things that I love and who I'm becoming. And I think I mourned the old me quite a bit when my baby was born, because when I looked in the mirror, I was just like, who is that? Because that's not me. And I already struggled with body dysmorphia in general. Um, so imagine having a baby and your skin, your body just changing. It made it like 100 times more difficult for me. So body dysmorphia, your body is literally shape shifting in front of your eyes. One day you look in the mirror, you think slim thick. Another day you look in the mirror and think galacticus Gerby. Jeepers creepers. Do you know what I mean? You just never know who you will see when you look in the mirror. Um, but I then had to realize that, my body gave life. My body brought life into the earth, and that's far more important than anything else. And so I am falling in love with the journey of getting my skin back to where I want it to be. Because initially, when I started, like, filming content and stuff like that, it almost felt like I had arrived. Um, and I knew everything about skincare, and I had my skincare routine on lock. I knew exactly what my skin needed from me. And so it was fun when now, postpartum, I had to kind of rebuild my skin again, or like problems that I had before, which maybe even solidified the fact that I really know what I'm doing. I really know what I'm doing, and I know what my skin needs from me. But nevertheless, what I will say is that showing up for yourself does not take away from what you pour into your baby. And with all the mom guilt and all the other things happening, it's very easy to often feel like because you are doing something that's outside being a mom, you are neglecting your child. But what I have learned, and I learned it very early on, to be fair, is that the more you pour into yourself, the more you can pour into your child, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And whatever that looks like, and I know this is like got to do with skincare, but whatever that looks like for you, it's very important to pour into yourself, because then that way you can pour into your child and the people around you and the people that you love. There's a quote I came across just before I had my baby, and it's basically says, when a child is born, so is a mom. So you're literally becoming a new person, and you've never met this person before, because motherhood requires you to be the most selfless version of yourself. Because imagine having to show up for somebody every single day at 100%, when maybe on that day your battery is low, you have 5%, you don't have a charger, kuna mageti, power bank is out of battery. That's the sort of vibe that I can describe. No generator, no solar. that's that's basically how I can best describe motherhood. Um, but honestly, it is so beautiful, and I am so grateful that God has blessed me with the gift of motherhood. It's got its challenges, but it has taught me to be multifaceted in all areas of my life, whether it be at work, whether it be mom, whether it's chasing my dreams, my goals. It's taught me how to balance, or how to attempt to balance, because I don't think I've got it on lock. But what I can say safely is that I've got the skincare thing on lock, and having to rebuild from scratch after I had done all the work about like 3.5 years ago was honestly quite fun, in the sense that I knew exactly what my skin needed. So the recovery was much more quicker than when I was trying to figure it out. And this podcast, or this specific episode, is just for to encourage somebody who is an aspiring mom, or a mom, or just somebody who is struggling to be consistent, or show up in that way for themselves. I found that from the day my baby was born until now, it feels like the results, you can't really see the results initially, because obviously if you're kind of checking every single day, it doesn't look like you're making progress. But when you look at like 365 days ago and now, there's a very big difference. And consistency is the name of the game, especially when it comes to skincare and getting results. You have to be consistent if you want to see results. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode, and I'm looking forward to having more conversations and just kind of like being open and honest, and sharing what this journey looks like for me, um, beyond just the skincare, just different things around it. And yeah, I'm signing out from Chinchin's mom. No, signing out from Tatenda.